The Finstown Castle Hotel Formula Boss Ireland cars took to the grid as the penultimate race on another great weekend sport, provided by Digital Motorsports Irish Championship Circuit Racing at Mondello Park. Aaron Gaughran was absent from the grid and starting from the pit lane, but his grid space caused a little confusion to the formation, but this was quickly resolved. Unfortunately, Paul O'Connell didn't make it to the start of either race on the day in the GP2 Dallara. After missing out on qualifying, he could have started from the back row of the grid, if they'd got the car sorted. I'll defer to Leo Nulty's excellent race commentary for the start.
We could see a delayed start here maybe. No, I think we're alright. Back over the wall, Fergus Faherty spots it, gives the 5-second board, we're getting ready to go. Watch out for Sylvie Mullins on pole position. When you hear this car, when he winds it up. Great start, look at Matheson from row 2. See you later boys, Matheson goes through. Fildes with a great start. It's by Mansfield and he's by, is that Michael Connolly as well. Fildes around the outside, he's up to second place, is he? Third place, he's banging wheels now with Fergus Faherty, has to back out of that one. Well, we expect fireworks every time Jonathan Fildes gets into a car, and he doesn't disappoint. He's all over Faherty, he's gone by Faherty, round the outside on the approach to turn 2.
As the cars return from the country, we see Eamon Matheson in the lead from Sylvie Mullins. He could be a harder nut to crack than Fergus Faherty because these two cars are similar speed on the straights. Jonathan Fildes there in third position. What a great start he had, even from further back the grid. Fergus Faherty just behind him. And Michael Connolly is holding back Sam Mansfield in 6th. Completing lap 1, it's Matheson, Mullins, Fildes, Faherty, Connolly, Mansfield. Oh, and look at Tony Greenan taking Michael Roche there, up to 7th place. Tom Gaughran, Dwyer, Doherty, Graham, and Aaron Gaughran not looking in good shape after his start from the pit lane. It looks like he wants to go back in there. Out on the lap, Eamon Matheson is deploying his flaming defence system at Sylvie Mullins. Back at the start-finish, we see that Aaron Gaughran has just managed to clear the straight. Back to the action, and Jonathan Fildes has firmed up 3rd place from Fergus Faherty. Michael Connolly has made a bit of comfort from Sam Mansfield. Michael Roche is under threat from another sports car. Tom Gaughran goes up the inside there. Peter Dwyer goes through as well. There must be an issue with Roche's car. On the straight we see that Doherty has got through too. Gary Graham closes and we look back for Aaron Gaughran. The engine sounds alright, there's no smoke. I wonder is there a gear change issue or something? That's a shame after his success in the earlier race. Mid lap 3 and Sylvie is ready to start leaning on his tyres. He closes the gap on Matheson and makes his move up the inside. And he's through before they enter the straight. Down along the pit wall we see how even the drag race is between these cars. Sam Mansfield is putting pressure on Connolly in the battle for 5th, and Roland Doherty is behind Peter Dwyer again. That Lola looks very wide. The Roche has gone missing between Doherty and Graham. We spot him behind Aaron Gaughran, and that car looks like it's going to have to pull in. Hopefully Michael can get that sorted before Kirkstown, just 2 weeks after this event. Lap 4 and our new race leader Sylvie Mullins is settling into position. But hang on a minute, where's Matheson? He's behind Fildes. Fildes now up to 2nd. And Fergus Faherty is closing on the Jade. The F3 swings towards the inside line, but he's not going through just yet. The Jade still seems to be on song, keeping with the Lola on the straight. Sam Mansfield is still filling Michael Connolly's mirrors. Could Tony Greenan be playing a waiting game on these two? Tom Gaughran doing a solo run in 8th. I'd say Roland Doherty could draw the back end of that Lola from memory at this stage. Aaron Gaughran has quite a bit of ground to make up to Gary Graham. It looks like Sylvie is well lined up to do the double today and complete 3 in a row in the championship. Where's Fildes? Matheson is back in 2nd again, with Faherty close behind. Sam Mansfield is finding himself in a sports car sandwich again, with Michael Connolly in front and Tony Greenan behind. There's Jonathan Fildes just behind Tom Gaughran. He must have had a spin or something. Doherty working the outside line behind Dwyer. Fildes' Lola is able to keep with Gaughran's turbo radical on the straight. Is there an opportunity under braking? There certainly is. In the distance we see Fildes back up to 7th, and Aaron Gaughran is starting to make positions, having passed Gary Graham. Mullins could start saving fuel for Kirkustown at this stage. Fergus looks like he's posturing for something behind Eamon. He made a bit of ground there. He's gone to the outside, and then he does that great dive to the inside. He's all the way through. Will he be able to hold it on the straight? Mullins is already out of sight, and the Jade is doing its party trick. Fildes has a bit of ground to make up on the 4th, 5th and 6th trio, but with them defending, he's got a good chance. Doherty's nose is under Dwyer's wing here, and Aaron Gaughran has caught them up. Doherty has a wheel passed on the outside there. Out of sight, there must have been some contact. Dwyer's back left looked damaged before he even came into view. Aaron got through safely and Doherty continues. At least there didn't look to be any impact with the barriers. Gary Graham moves up one.
And the back suspension askew. Gone off on the main straight here. Waved yellow flags. He's fine though. He's getting out of the car. Peter Dwyer, former class.
Sylvie and his crew put a huge amount of time and effort into making the car run like that. It's paying off today. Just look at that gap back to second place, where Fergus is still working hard on Eamon Matheson. He's not quite as close as he was on the last lap. In fact, Connolly, Mansfield and Greenan are catching them. The dive doesn't work this time. This lot could be nicely bunched up in a few laps for Jonathan Fildes. Aaron Gaughran approaches his dad Tom, but this is for race position. I doubt there'll be any quarter given. Peter Dwyer takes up a spectating position as Roland Doherty goes by. And Gary Graham must be building his confidence again after that knock he had with the pit wall at the end of last season. Lap 7 and the Judd in the back of the Gould is sounding fantastic. Behind Mullins, Faherty has a wheel ahead of Eamon Matheson around the outside. It turns to the inside line. He's got a bit of an advantage. Can he make enough before the main straight? Sam Mansfield makes a move on Michael Connolly. And he goes through too. No, it's not enough. Matheson flies past Faherty on the straight. And the two radicals are swarming all over Mansfield. Connolly got his position back and didn't leave enough room for Greenan to come through too. Further back it looks like Aaron is making a move, but no, Tom responds and defends his line. As the father and son go by, I think it's obvious that Peter Dwyer isn't happy with what happened between him and Roland Doherty. Gary Graham is about to get a close-up of our race leader. As we swing back to see how Fergus is getting on with Eamon. He didn't quite get his nose past this time, and Eamon shuts the door. But Fergus has a nice tight line, and Eamon can't close in. Faherty's through, and he's holding it. They file past the pit lane, and then Connolly and Greenan swing out for different approaches to the braking. Aaron has passed Tom, but I think the F3 has picked up a puncture. The radical repasses, and we see the other tyres under pressure to stop the single-seater. Just over 6 minutes to go. Can he limp to the end?
Yeah, 57.9, that time. Slow lap for him.
Lap 10, and Sylvie Mullins has now lapped Gary Graham. And we just hear Mr. Nulty announcing Matheson is gone. Fergus Faherty is finally free, but he's a long way behind Sylvie Mullins. That means this group are now fighting for a podium. Michael Connolly has it now, Sam Mansfield is 4th, and Jonathan Fildes has already got past Tony Greenan. Tom Gaughran is 7th. And Roland Doherty is now 8th. He's made it past Aaron Gaughran, who is limping along with that puncture. He doesn't pit. There must be a risk of harm to the rear suspension travelling on the rim like that. Sylvie Mullins, however, looks fully inflated. Fergus Faherty is having a good day too. But there's no cruising in this group. Jonathan Fildes has gone missing again. A little fishtail from Sam reminds us how hard these Lolas have to be pushed to keep this pace. Jonathan is still going, and the back end of his car is looking really loose. Roland Doherty looks like he's closing on Tom Gaughran's 7th place. There's about 4.5 minutes to go on the clock. Aaron must have taken the sensible decision to pull in. Sylvie will be glad he preserved that first gear on the starts. It's angle grinder machining and mechanical sympathy that have got him here. Gary Graham does look like he's leaning nicely on his little Formula Renault here. 2nd place will keep Fergus Faherty in the championship chase. Tony Greenan has a look past Sam Mansfield, and there's smoke coming from the Lola, and it looks oily. Greenan passes for a breath of fresh air. I hope there's no harm being done. It was great to see Sam going so well this morning. Fildes keeping the back in check on this lap. And Roland's chase continues. It's not on the straight that he makes his ground. Oh, and there's a lot of smoke from Mansfield in the background. There's a possibility of oil out on the track. You'd never want to be the first to discover it. I'd say Fergus has made a bit of ground on Sylvie. He continues to run out to every curve. He never gives up to the very end. The radicals of Connolly and Greenan are 3rd and 4th. The Lola of Fildes powers on in 5th as the one of Mansfield pulls in. Roland has closed right up on Tom. The radical driver is now starting to drive defensively. He can choose his own line here, however. Sylvie Mullins definitely looks like he's driving in the middle of the road. And Fergus Faherty is definitely closed after passing Gary Graham. And Tony Greenan definitely fancies another podium finish this year. I think Jonathan Fildes is happy to take 5th now after his cut and thrust race. Doherty's able to carry good speed out of this corner. But Tom's line prevents any cut up the inside here. He knows his power can make up for a compromised line onto the straight. Fergus will be starting to see Sylvie Mullins at the end of the straights. And that's driving him on to use even more of the track. Just over a minute to go. And behind Gary Graham, we see that Tony Greenan has passed Michael Connolly. Michael's tail end looking very loose under braking. I wonder are his tyres going off.
5.8 seconds. It was 16 seconds, remember.
Behind Jonathan Fildes, Roland Doherty is making a big effort on Tom Gaughran.
Gaughran now and Roland Doherty. Great battle between those two.
Is Sylvie just pacing it? Fergus is at full pace. With about 18 seconds on the clock, this will be the last lap.
Back down the track. Here comes Fergus.
Tony Greenan looks to have secured third place from Michael Connolly.
3.7 seconds. Just the checkered flag is prepared below me.
Fildes looks safe in fifth. Don't think there's much left in those tyres. Doherty is running out of time to make a move on Gaughran, but he's probably reluctant after what happened with Peter Dwyer earlier. It looks like Sylvie Mullins has paced it just right to the end. I think he'll take the flag. But fair dues to Fergus Faherty for keeping the pressure on to the very end. We have seen cars run out of fuel on the home straight. Well done to Sylvie on another great win, and a solid second for Fergus. Tony Greenan is still using the full width of the track. It will be really interesting to see how he goes on his home track at the next championship rounds at Kirkistown. Fourth is Michael Connolly's best result of the season so far. Gary Graham has another full race under his belt. Fildes taking it handy to definitely take this fifth place. One last effort from Roland. But it makes sense to settle for seventh, his best result in boss racing so far. And that's sixth for Tom Gaughran, which interestingly moves him ahead of his son in the championship. And here is the overall championship table after 6 rounds. Sylvie Mullins now the clear leader from Fergus Faherty. Tom Gaughran leads the Boss 1 championship for over 2 litre cars from Eamon Matheson. In Boss 2, Fergus Faherty has a huge lead over Aaron Gaughran. Back in the pit lane, Sylvie Mullins explains why he dropped his pace towards the end of the race.
That's nearly a perfect day. Yeah, you could say that was actually. But look, I got an okay start, but Eamon had a super start. It was like a shot out of a gun. It took me a lap to get past Eamon because he's as quick as I am on the straight. So I don't make any grounds on Eamon. Only because I can make grounds on Eamon are the bends. Look, it was good, and then we got an aisle flag. I thought it was me, but the lads told me it was Sam, and I got it for 2 laps, so I had to back off, check all my telemetry and make sure I had no leaks or oil pressure was good. And, if the race was tighter, I'd have been in trouble. The thought went through my head, okay, if I've an oil leak or problems, I was going to have to pull in. So this is where I suppose we have to try and get the numbers. They said they had Sam's number, but it's so small you couldn't see it. So look, all being said, we had a good race, we had a good weekend. The lads worked atrociously last week and the week before. to get it.
That explains. I can see that you backed off there towards the end. So
yeah, I backed off because I was going through everything, and I just when I saw the flag twice, 2 laps, I said, "Oh, I have an oil leak. I'm in trouble." I had good oil pressure, and I said, "I keep going." I see my oil pressure backing off a bit, but I thought, the thought did go through my mind. I may have to pull in, and I was looking at the clock, and I still had 2 or 3 minutes to go. So I said, "Right, that's 3 laps." So look, it worked out okay in the end.
You'll have to commit now to the rest of the year.
Yeah, look, we were prior to this weekend. We said we didn't know if we were going to do the North, but now, as I say, the ball is back in my court, and I have to get permission from my wife because I'm gone for the last 2 weeks in the shade, and it's another 2 weeks to the next race. So look, we'll see how it goes during the week. I'm throwing it out there in the camera, so she'll see it.
Am I involved now?
You are.
I'll cede the final word to Fergus Faherty, who summed up the weekend perfectly.
Great weekend, great bit of fun, really enjoyable. The whole weekend has been great atmosphere, great bit of racing, some great racing with Eamon there, and the green missile, it's you can pass him out the back, but if you don't have enough space here in the front, he's gone again, So great bit of crack, and great to get the win in the AF2 class as well, and get second overall. So great weekend, couldn't ask for better. It started with qualifying, and then race 2, got third overall and second in the class, and then get the class win in F2 then for this final race. It's great, absolutely great.
Well done. Are you looking forward to Kirkstone?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge up there with all the big monsters and machines there. The straight line speed of them is going to be very good, but the corner speed of these is equal to that, I hope. It'll depend on the day. It could be the weather, it could be anything,
Yeah, the F3 might have the legs for the longer Leinster Trophy races.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't know what it's going to be. You could have a wet day, you could have a dry day, you just don't know.